Welcome to a deep dive into a world most of us only hear about in whispers. We're diving into excerpts from Educated, a memoir that takes us deep into rural Idaho onto a mountain called Buck's Peak. This isn't just a story about a family living off the grid, it's about the power of belief shaping reality.
And what's so compelling is how this memoir, through one family's experience, spotlights universal themes: family dynamics, education, and the struggle to reconcile deeply held beliefs with the wider world.
Right from the start, you're struck by the author's vivid descriptions of her childhood home. Imagine a childhood where the rugged landscape of Buck's Peak becomes your classroom, where ancient rock formations whisper secrets of the past. And your father's stories weave a tapestry of self-reliance and suspicion toward the outside world.
It's almost as if the mountain itself becomes a character shaping the family's identity and worldview. Their isolation isn't just geographical, it's deeply intertwined with their belief system.
And that belief system leads to some pretty unconventional choices. I mean, we're
Yeah.
talking herbal remedies, home births, things some people choose today, but taken to a whole other level. They're preparing for the apocalypse, convinced the government is the enemy.
What's fascinating is how their isolation feeds into a cycle. They distrust anything outside their mountain. And that distrust, in turn, makes them even more isolated. It's a self-perpetuating cycle.
It's unsettling to think how one interpretation of a single Bible verse could make this father decide milk is evil, and then replace it with 50 gallons of honey.
That anecdote reveals how ingrained their beliefs are. This isn't just about what they believe, it's about how those beliefs govern even the most mundane aspects of their lives, like what they consume.
It makes you wonder how many of our own seemingly ordinary choices are driven by deeply held but rarely questioned beliefs. We might not be stockpiling honey, but we all have our milk moments, don't we?
Absolutely. And what makes this memoir so thought-provoking is that it holds up a mirror to all of us. It challenges us to examine the origins of our own beliefs and the extent to which they shape our perceptions of the world.
And this family story takes an even more complex turn when we look at their approach to education, which is where the mother's perspective really comes into play.
While the father views formal education as a tool of indoctrination, the mother secretly yearns for something more for her children.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking to see how her aspirations for her children clash with her loyalty to her husband and their way of life.
Hmm.
She's caught between two worlds.
This tension is embodied in the story of Tyler the brother, who secretly pursues education.
Right.
His choice isn't just about knowledge, it represents a yearning for a different life, a challenge to the family's core beliefs.
And the way the author describes those moments when Tyler chooses studying over scrapping metal in their yard.
Right.
There's a sense of awe in her words, almost like she's witnessing something revolutionary.
Absolutely. He becomes a symbol of defiance, not through grand gestures, but through the simple act of seeking knowledge.
Yeah.
It plants a seed of questioning in the author's mind, hinting at a world beyond Buck's Peak.
It makes you think about the power of one person's choices to inspire others, even in the quietest ways.
And for the author, Tyler's defiance paves the way for her own eventual break from the family's beliefs.
Right.
It demonstrates the ripple effect of courage within a family dynamic.
But it's not just Tyler's pursuit of education that challenges their reality.
Right.
The father's paranoia adds another layer of complexity to the story.
Okay.
The way he interprets events like the Ruby Ridge standoff and weaves them into his own narrative is chilling.
It's a stark reminder of how fear and isolation can warp an individual's perception of the world.
Yeah.
He constructs an alternate reality where the government is the enemy, even when faced with evidence that contradicts his beliefs.
It's almost as if he needs the threat to be real in order to justify their extreme way of life.
Precisely. His paranoia becomes the lifeblood of their isolation, fueling their distrust of anything outside their mountain.
It makes you question how much of our own understanding of the world is shaped by the narratives we're exposed to, especially within our families.
Right.
Are we truly free in forming our own opinions, or are we unconsciously molded by the beliefs of those around us?
It's a question with no easy answers.
Right.
The author grapples with this throughout the memoir, questioning everything she's been taught.
Okay.
And her journey forces us to confront the possibility that some of our deeply held beliefs might be based on fear, misinformation, or blind faith.
It's one thing to question your beliefs intellectually, but to actually break free from the world you were raised in, that takes incredible courage.
And what makes the author's story so compelling is that it's not a clean break. She grapples with conflicting loyalties, questioning her family while still yearning for their acceptance.
It's a reminder that challenging your upbringing often means confronting painful truths about the people you love.
Absolutely, and the memoir doesn't shy away from these difficult emotions. When she learns about concepts like mental illness and the civil rights movement, it's like a light bulb goes off. She begins to see her family's dynamics and her own experiences in a whole new light.
That's where the real power of education shines through. It's not just about memorizing facts, it's about gaining new lenses through which to view the world and your place in it.
Precisely, the author gains a language to articulate her experiences, to understand the complexities of her upbringing in ways that were previously inaccessible.
But knowledge, as they say, is power. And with that power comes the responsibility of reconciling with difficult truths.
And that's where the memoir becomes truly universal. It compels us to ask ourselves how much of our own identity is intertwined with the narratives we've inherited from our families. And is it possible to embrace new truths without betraying our past?
It's a question the author wrestles with throughout the book, and ultimately her journey offers a powerful message of resilience.
She shows us that breaking free from limiting beliefs isn't about erasing the past. It's about integrating new understandings into our sense of self. It's about recognizing that growth often involves questioning, challenging, and sometimes even grieving the narratives we were raised with.
This deep dive into Educated has been a powerful reminder that our beliefs shape our reality. But it's also a testament to the power of education, to open our minds, challenge our assumptions, and ultimately empower us to rewrite our own stories. What will you choose to challenge in your own narrative?